We're back with Ms. Ricks and Dr. Burkeen. If you are just tuning in, last week we had two wonderful gentlemen on the show, and they commented on what society calls the C word. Let's take a look.
The commitment, or the C word as you put it, it doesn't intimidate me at all.
Doesn't scare you.
But there are some men who feel like the word commitment is a big, a big hurdle to jump.
Right.
Well, first of all, let me just say that all men are not, afraid of commitment, and also that would be the extent that there are some women who have commitment issues as well. Yes. So those issues run across the board.
Exactly. So, ladies, tell me, what do you think?
The C word.
The C word.
The dreaded yet celebrated C word.
Yes.
Commitment.
Yes.
It's something that many of us strive for, but when you're faced with commitment, some of us may or may not be ready for it.
Yes.
It just takes time, and I think you'll know when you're ready, especially the person that you're with, they'll know as well. Again, it comes down to, the conversation, communication, and just understanding one another, and can kind of fill out where you are with regards to commitment, and both of you need to be ready to take that step, because if it's lopsided, it's not necessarily going to work. So you just kind of have to take it slow and just accept it as it comes, and just make sure that you're on the same accord when it comes to commitment, and make sure that it's something that you're striving for and it's something that you actually want.
Okay. But what if you want it and the other person doesn't want it? What do you do then?
That comes
because
through the...
previously we said go with the flow.
Right.
So going with the flow, but if that person, you see the difference here?
Yes,
you can go with the flow, but that doesn't mean it's going to flow in a commitment.
Right. Exactly.
So what are women to do?
I think it has to do with what we said about walking the path and being on that same level. I feel like if commitment to me means maybe just being in a serious relationship and going toward being engaged and things like that, but some men might think that might be too much at a certain time or a certain point in their life. And if you are ready to make that next step, then you need to say, look, if it's not going anywhere or you're not trying to make that next step, that's fine, but then I'm going to do what I need to do and maybe just find somebody else that maybe do that, okay? But I think women are just as fearful as men when it comes to commitment, because you actually can see after periods of time what actually could come out into relationships, okay? So things start coming out that might be a little more different, and you might see that they might not be the person they were before you dated. So I think it comes to maturity level, and you both making a decision like, this is what we want to do, can we do that, and let's take that next step.
Okay. Now, do you feel that some women have an issue or a problem with committing? Because I'm hearing more and more that men are saying that it's hard for them to find a good person to be in their life because we're afraid of commitment. So do you see that more and more?
I do think that's a phenomenon that we are seeing now. It's not just the man that fears commitment. Women, with them pursuing their educations, furthering their careers, may not be ready to jump into that actual relationship as soon as they, were in the past. As far as having children, as far as getting married, not every woman wants that now. So I do believe that there are some women who may be putting off commitment. It's not just men.
And I also think a lot of people have had their heart broken, and I think that's something that we need to take time with. If you've been emotionally wounded and there's some things that might happen, you might want to take that time and say, look, I'm not into a committed relationship. I don't want to bring any baggage here. I need time to heal. So I think that commitment should be a decision that both parties need to make, and that you need to be ready for that and take the seriousness that's in commitment. I don't think people know that you can't be as selfish as you used to be. Humans have a tendency to be selfish, and you got to think about other people. And if you can't do that and be conscious, because I feel like a lot of women, we want commitment, but we don't really understand what commitment is, and we just want him, oh, that's my boyfriend, or that's my man, he belongs to me, no other woman can talk to him. And that's not what commitment is. It means when you're down, I'm there. When you're up, I'm there. But I also don't want you to take me on an emotional roller coaster that comes along with it. So I think it comes, like I said, with maturity level and just making that decision that this is something that we can do and that we will do.
Okay. And you mentioned fearful. A lot of people are fearful of being held accountable
very good.
for the relationship. Because when you're committed, you have a certain responsibility.
Yes, yes.
And communication is one of those things that most people lack.
Right.
I know a lot of counselors out there,
Yes.
divorce counselors, and they often tell me that they figure out their own problem, but they just can't do it themselves.
Right.
So they would prefer to pay $75 an hour for someone to tell you
Right.
different things to do.
Right.
And what I'm finding is a lot of men who are divorced, they're hurt.
Yes.
They're
yes.
hurt, but yet still out there trying to date. So what do you think women should do if you come across someone who's recently divorced and he wants to date you? Of course, his mind is not on commitment.
I think you definitely need to take that into consideration and ask yourself, is this a situation that I can deal with? And if you opt to go ahead and deal with the situation, you have to exercise patience. You have to understand where that person's been and what they're going through, and to know that they may not be as ready to go forward as you are in the relationship because they've just recently come out of one. So you have to be truthful with yourself and see if can I be patient enough wait for this person to come around, or would this person just better off be, just a friend or someone I talk to occasionally, and that's something I'm going to pursue something with.
Okay.
So you just have to be honest with yourself and decide if that's something that you want to get into.
Yes. So what is all this stuff about, let's just be friends? What does that mean?
I'm the
Let's
queen.
just be friends.
That's
the new wave of dating now. We're friends and we're doing everything that constitutes a relationship,
Right.
and I'm in the kitchen cooking and cleaning and all this, but yet we're friends. So
Well-
how do you make that determination of, look, we're not friends anymore. I'm a little bit more than that. So how do you ladies deal with that?
I'm the one that initiates the friendship because I feel like, and I had to grow out of this, to mature into, trying to keep yourself and your heart safeguarded. If I can keep you in this certain box and we're just friends, that means I can deal with you when I want to.
Exactly.
I don't have to deal with the intimacy issue because I don't feel like it's men that have it also, just always have that issue. Women might have that issue too. So I don't have to deal with all this stuff, but you're just my friend. So, I think it's a great way to get to know somebody. If you can trust them on that level as a friend, then you can have longevity with them.
Well, ladies, thank you so very much.
Thank you for
It's
having
a
me.
pleasure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I would like to thank my guests, Ms. Christina Ricks and Dr. Vedas Burkeen, for sharing their insights on this special edition of Dating and Relationships. I would also like to thank Ms. Kaja Spencer for her makeup expertise. Much appreciation goes out to all of the sponsors that made this show possible. Mr. James McClan with Fitness and Wellness, Mr. Elvis White with Landscaping and Gardening, and Herzing University. Additionally, I would also like to give a special thanks to Miss Alicia Terry for that wonderful selection she has performed for us today. If you missed any part of this show, please tune in next week for a rerun. You can also view this show on YouTube and Facebook. Just plug in the Dr. Joy Show. We are constantly seeking energetic sponsorships. You're seeing the show, now become a part of it. Allow this show to uplift your church event, business, or service right here, right here, right here. So stay tuned to upcoming episodes where you will continue to be inspired, uplifted, and transformed. Same time, same day. See you soon.